Welcome everyone to day 60 of building the flight booking engine. If you have been very consistent with me from the very start, I am sure by now you've learned so many concepts. Today's goal will be to build the producer for Kafka, what will be responsible for publishing our events. I have here a number of goals that I've lined up, but I do not want to go through this. This will work as a checklist at the end of the stream. And I'll just show you maybe briefly at the goals, what I've just told you. The key concept that we want to look at the singleton pattern, and asynchronous handoff, serialization. And our action plan is to install a dependency, okay, and create the producer and then refactor one of the routers. And so let me now go to the code base and start the construction of this. So like you see, we set up our infrastructure in the previous video. The next goal will be to now set up a Python package to help us talk to Kafka, okay? And like you know, that is going to be installed using UV, and we expect it to be added to this dependencies list. And that package is called Confluent Kafka, okay? So if you check, if I go here, Confluent Kafka, if I can spell that correctly, okay? And I go to their page, okay? This is what we're going to install, okay? But of course, we're not using pip, but I'm using actually UV. So I'll go to my terminal right here, expand it a little bit, clear this. I hope you can now see better. And then I can say UV add Confluent Kafka. So you can see on line 11, version 2.12 has been added, okay, to the Pi project, the Tomo. So I can now reduce this, drag it down, okay, close this. Then here in utils, I'm going to create a new Python module. This will be called Kafka.py, okay? And now in this file is where I'm going to write the producer, okay? If you have a better way of organizing this, please let me know, okay? But as we go on, we shall keep on iterating and improving the project like I've always told you. And I'm always happy to learn from you. So let us now start building the producer. For the producer, I am going to create a class, okay? I'll say class, okay? Kafka producer, like that. And you can see AI trying to suggest a number of things, okay? And this Kafka producer is going to have an instance, okay? An instance that should be accessible only internally and not externally. To do that, okay, in Python, we put an underscore before a variable, okay? So I'll say instance equals to none by default, okay? But I want this instance to be accessible only within the class, okay, not outside. How can we show that in Python? By simply adding an underscore, okay? I'll not over explain the things because I know you guys know Python. By the time you're studying this, you know Python, okay? Then I'm going to create what they call the singleton pattern, okay? So the singleton pattern is a design pattern which ensures that only one instance, okay, of a class exists. So you know that when we are creating an instance in Python, we do this, okay? I can come here, I can say instance one, okay? Instance one equals to Kafka producer, like that. Okay, then I come here, instance two equals to Kafka producer. Instance three, okay? Instance 3 equals to Kafka producer, like that, okay? These are 3 separate instances. But what I want is this. Every time this is done, okay, I want the project to only have one instance, okay? One valid instance. No matter how many times you try to instantiate, okay? I want only one instance. How will that happen? That will happen because of the singleton pattern, okay? We are going to do the singleton pattern. How does the singleton pattern work? How can we do it? Okay, we can do it using a dunder method or a magic method in Python, which controls how objects are created. Okay, and that method is called a new method, like you see AI suggesting. So I'll say define underscore underscore new underscore underscore. And again, I'll not ever explain this because I know you guys know Python. Okay, but a quick recap is that this method is called before the init. Okay, so I'll assume that many of you know what init is. Okay, the usual init method that everybody who learns Python is taught. Okay, this method. Okay, so we're now doing the new. So a new is called before init. Then here I'll say if CLS, okay, remember CLS is a reference to the class, okay. If reference dot underscore instance, okay, is none. I want to be very careful here not to follow what AI is suggesting, okay, is none, okay. So if it is none, we create it, okay. If there is no instance of the Kafka producer, we create it, okay. So in the next line, I'll say CLS or the class dot underscore, okay. So this is a class attribute, okay, but should be only accessible internally. That's why you see it has an underscore before it. Will be equals to, I think what AI is suggesting now is correct, okay, is equals to, you say super, okay, you know what super does, calls the super class, Kafka producer, pass CLS, then call new again, okay, and pass that, okay. Then AI is suggesting stuff, but I'll remove that. Okay, we don't need that. So here is where we create now the instance. Okay, we now create it. After creating it, we can now say I want now to because this Kafka producer is going to have the instance. Okay, this instance. Okay, the single instance of the Kafka producer. Okay, is going to have a producer attribute. So to do that, I'll say cls dot underscore instance dot producer. Okay, so for the first time when we are creating, the producer will be none. Okay, which is okay, it will be none. Then after that, we also now need to initialize the bootstrap server, okay, for internal communication. So I'll say cls dot instance underscore instance, okay, then dot bootstrap servers, okay. So you can see AI trying to say none, but I'll not say none. In this case, I'll simply get it from the environment. I'll say os dot get, but we need to import os. So I'll go to the top here and say import os, then os dot get env, okay. We can now load Kafka bootstrap servers, okay. But this should not be the default. The default, actually, if you check what we defined yesterday in day 59, you'll see, where is it? What we want is where this, okay, the advertised listener, okay, this, okay, this is what we want for internal communication. So it should point to the plain text listener for internal communication. So I'll remove, there's no need for localhost, okay. Simply set up that, okay. So if there's no instance, we create one, instantiate the producer, okay, and then the bootstrap server. This spelling of bootstrap looks wrong. Just there has to be a T, bootstrap, yes, bootstrap underscore servers. So yeah, that is it. Otherwise, if we already have an instance, we return it. Simply return it. No need to create. Simply say return cls dot instance. As simple as that. So this is how we shall be able to have only and only one. What is wrong with AI? Sometimes I wonder at these tools. Okay, if you've seen me returning, by now you should not return anything. Okay. Tetea Zote. Have I pronounced your name correctly? Can you please prepare the Discord group? I want to join you. I need you every day. Oh, interesting. I'm going to do that. Okay. Zote, I'm going to create the Discord group. Let me take note of that. Looking for a pen around here. Do you guys have to do apps? And do you use them? I'm very curious. I have to do apps, but right now I am looking for a pen to write down what you just told me. It's crazy that with all the to-do apps available. I'm still looking for a pen. All right. I can't seem to get the pen. Okay. But I'm going to do that. Okay. So thank you, Zote, for bringing that. Okay. I'm going to create a Discord group, and yeah, we can keep interacting from there. All right. So what else? What else can we do? Okay. What else can we do? So now that we have this, okay, set up, okay, remember I told you this new is called before init and will help us to control the creation of an instance. So with that done, okay, of course, if you have any question, you can always ask, okay? Yeah, don't fear, okay? Now, going ahead, I need to now move on to a function, rather a method, okay? We call them methods when in a class, not functions. That will help us to start, okay? To start or create the actual producer, okay? So I'll say define, okay, a method. This is going to be a public instance method called start, okay? And because it's an instance method, it will take self, okay, as an argument, like okay? Then, okay, on the next line, I'm going to do a check, okay? I'll check if the producer already exists, okay? I'll say if self.producer, okay? If the producer already exists, I simply return, okay? I return. There's no need to start. You get? Otherwise, if it is none, if it is a new object, okay? This will line 9 would have been executed, okay? And so this if statement would have what? Skipped. But if this line 11 is executed, it means we already have an instance. And so we can simply return, okay? There's no need to start what already exists. You understand it, okay? Then on the next line, I'm going to create some configuration that is going to be used by Kafka, okay? I'm going to create a dictionary which will represent two things, okay? Which will have two keys, one for the Bootstrap server, and the other, okay, will be for the client ID, okay? So make sure you understand this. Yesterday, I actually asked you a question. Those who were watching yesterday, if you remember what I talked about Bootstrap servers in the what is it called, in the day 57, I think, okay? So make sure you watch day 57 if you missed out on it, okay? So yeah, I will not follow what AI is doing. I'll say conf, okay? So conf is a short form for configuration, will be equals to a Python dictionary. Look at what AI is saying, okay? I'll accept this, okay? So it says bootstrap.servers, this is okay, will be the value of self.bootstrap servers, okay? Simply, yeah, the location of where Kafka is, okay? Where the Kafka broker is, okay? So which will be this, okay? Which will be this, okay? Will this be correct? Self.bootstrap servers. Okay, yeah, okay, this is okay. This is okay. Okay, I'll leave this, okay? Yeah, self.bootstrap servers. Then after that, what do we need to do? Client ID. Okay, so think about the client ID as a specific identification for this producer. Okay, it is an identifier string in simple terms. Okay, even when you look at the Kafka logs, you'll see that this ID is mentioned, but I don't want to call it my producer. I'll simply call it maybe fast API producer, something like that. Okay, since we have one. Okay, what else do I need to do? So after this, okay, then I can now go to the next line and say self dot producer. Okay, self dot producer will be equals to this. Way now we create an instance of the producer. I will go up and import the Confluent Kafka that we imported. Okay, so I'll say from Confluent Kafka import producer. Okay, so as we code, I want to ask questions. Is this code going to work? Is this not going to work? Okay, I think going forward, I'll intentionally make some mistakes. Okay, so that you also are able to guide me. Okay, to identify them and think out loud and of how to fix issues. Okay, to teach you how to fix these issues. So we've say self.producer will be equals to equals to an instance of this, okay, of producer. So I'll come here and I say producer, okay, and create an instance the usual way. Then pass this configuration to it, okay, the way using AI is suggesting. So we pass the configuration. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else do we need? Okay. But would this fail? I think this okay, let's continue. I'm thinking about something. I'll share my thoughts in the end, okay? Then when I go on, okay? When I go on the next line, okay? I can now say I can log something, okay? Can log, okay? But first of all, this can probably fail, okay? So let me do a try, okay? A try except, okay? So, but instead of printing this, okay, I am going to log. So to log, we need to import our logger. Do you remember our logger? I've discovered in this project we ended up not using the logger religiously, okay? I need to be disciplined enough to keep using it. So we need to import this get app logger, okay? So come at the top and say from backend dot utils dot log manager import get app logger, okay? So I'll come here and say logger is equals to get app logger. Then we pass in the name, okay? So if you don't understand what this log manager class is all about, there's a video in this playlist where we talked about building a log manager. Have a look at it and it will help you to be so good, okay? And you'll understand it. So I will continue, and then here, then I can now log, okay? Can now log and say logger.info, okay, with the message. I say Kafka producer started on, okay, I'll make this an F string, started on self.bootstrap servers, okay? Then here, okay, I'll say self.producer equals to none in case things go wrong, okay? Then we can also log, okay? Say logger.error this time, okay? And I'll use what AI is saying. Failed to start Kafka producer E, okay? So I think that is it. That is it. In case of anything, I shall do another code review, okay? So like I've told you, when you see me writing code, ask yourself, is this correct? What could go wrong? So look at this code right now and see what could go wrong, depending on what we have written so far. Okay, what could go wrong? Okay, think about it. Think about it. All right, now, so after creating the start method, we also need another instance method. This instance method will help with stopping. Okay, so if you can start something, you can stop. They always say when you're learning how to drive, they always say make sure before you start a car, you know how to stop it. Otherwise, you can easily get into trouble. So here, I'll get out and say define another instance method called stop that will take self, okay? And then we shall say if there's a producer, okay? If self dot producer, okay? Do you know what will happen? Okay, I will get all we want to. So because Kafka is an asynchronous tool, okay, messages are got, okay, and some of them are delivered at a later time. So by the time you're stopping Kafka, you might find that not all messages have been delivered, okay? So you want to flash, okay? So you want to tell Kafka, okay, please push all messages, okay? Please sort out all these messages which have not been sent so far, okay? I want them to be sent, okay? So some messages might be sitting in the local buffer before going over the network, okay? So there's a function called flash which forces the program, okay, to push those messages to leave the buffer, okay? Yeah, but then before that we shall make it to wait, okay, for some seconds. So I'll say self dot producer dot flash, okay? So this is the one I was talking about, okay? And we can put a timeout. We can say timeout equals to 5.0. We can say before stopping, wait for a timeout of about 5 seconds, okay, for those messages to leave the buffer, okay? Yeah, so I'll explain this again. Sending messages to Kafka is usually asynchronous, okay? So messages might sit in a buffer before going over the network. So Flash forces the program to wait up to 5 seconds, okay, for those messages to leave the computer, okay? In case there's some messages which could not be sent in time, okay, Kafka, this method Flash will return them, okay? So maybe I can just call it left, maybe messages to signify messages which have been left, okay? And then I log, I say logger dot info, okay? I'll create an f string. I'll say Kafka I think I'll use this message suggested by AI. Kafka producer stopped. Left messages were not delivered. Yes, so this number of left messages were not delivered. Then after the end, since we're stopping, I'll say self.producer equals to none. Yeah, for now, this makes sense, okay? This can do. Then I want to go on to something else. That would be the one for sending, okay? So we have started, okay? We have stopped, okay? Can start and stop. That is good. Now we need to send. What is responsible for delivering these messages? So to do that, I'll come and create a function called define. Okay, so you can see AI is being smart. Okay, let us see. Make this empty. I want to define it myself. Okay, you shall have the topic. I hope you all know what a topic is. If you don't, please make sure you watch, I think, day 57. That's where I introduced Kafka and I explained what a topic is and all these concepts that you need to know. All right, so yeah, topic in this case is a sublet string, of course, and we have a key and says value, okay? But instead of doing this, I'll simply do this, okay? I'll remove this key value and say message, okay? The message will be of a dict, okay? A dictionary whose keys are strings, okay? And the value we can say any, okay? Any. I don't know whether there's an inbuilt any in Python, okay? We shall find out. I'm used to this. I think this from typing. import any. Okay, so if this does not work, I'll need to investigate whether this any actually works as an annotation. Okay, could actually use this. Okay, but yeah, let's just go like that. Okay, with the one from the typing module. If the other one exists, you can help me confirm. Okay, and let me know. So I switch to it. Then, so after this, okay, so it takes the topic, it takes the message, which is simply dictionary having whose keys are strings and the values can be anything. So what I want to do here, okay, I want to check if there's no producer, if not self dot producer. Okay, so if there's no producer, what do I do? Okay, I can say logger dot warn. Okay, so this is not an error, just warn. Okay, dot warning. What do we want? Pass here a message. Okay, I'll put this as an f string. Okay, and I can say Kafka producer is not initialized. Okay, it's just a guard. Okay, so then you can say what is AI saying? Message to topic not sent. I think a better message would be message to topic skipped. Okay, message to topic skipped. I'll say skipped like that. Okay, message to topic skipped. There's no need to this for these codes. Okay, message to, I just do this. Okay, message to this topic skipped. Okay, as simple as that. Then you can stop the execution by returning immediately. Okay, so by returning immediately, we stop the execution of the function. Very simple, isn't it? This is the usual Python we write. Okay, nothing complex. It's a class. Okay, having a singleton pattern. We have instances. Okay, predicted class attributes. Okay, class methods. We are returning things. We have instance. Yeah, we have instance methods. We have if statements. Okay, we are logging. Okay, we have importations. We have try, except, exception handling. We have data structures like dictionaries. Okay, so yeah, it's usual Python. Yeah, so I say it's always good to understand the fundamentals. Okay, once you understand this, okay, and you have this in your mind, then you can use AI to generate whatever you want. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is to have a try and catch, because the next statements can easily fail. So I'll try except exception as E, okay, and leave this empty for now. So here, in the first thing I'm going to do, okay, I want you to understand that Kafka expects us to send bytes, okay, bytes of a string. I'll repeat that. Kafka only expects bytes, okay. So for us to have these bytes, to give Kafka bytes, okay, we have to convert this message, okay, to, okay, can convert the message to a string first, and which is a JSON string, then encode that JSON string to the UTF format, which will be bytes, okay, and by bytes I simply mean zeros and ones. To do that, at the top I'll import the JSON module. Let's say import JSON. Then down here, okay, I'll say the value that we want to send to Kafka will be equals to JSON.dumps, like AI suggestion, okay. Then dumps, we pass in the message. So this will convert it to a string. What type of string? A JSON string. After that, we encode, okay, using UTF-8, okay, and this will give us bytes. Okay, so if you look at the definition of encode, you see what my cursor has highlighted. Okay, the return value is bytes. Okay, that's what we return. Then on the next line, I can now say self dot producer dot produce. Come on, what am I doing? Produce. Okay, so let me explain produce. So produce is non-blocking. Okay, if you realize in the title of this stream, I said fire and forget. Okay, produce will simply fire the message and leave it and return control back to the main thread, okay, to the main application. Okay, says here is an event. Okay, someone has done this. Okay, this is an event for this topic. So handle every and says, okay, first API, I'm done firing the event. Okay, it fires and forgets about it, and the Kafka broker stores that message. Okay, and the consumer is responsible for picking it and dealing with it. Okay, that is why I said line 47 is a non-blocking operation. It is asynchronous. Okay, it fires and forgets. It's going to publish the event and say, okay, yeah, I'm done with my job. Okay, fast API, continue what you're doing, and you're going to see how I'm going to implement that. So for it to publish that event, there are a number of things that we need to pass. Okay, we can pass the topic and we shall say topic equals to topic. Okay, like AI is suggesting, the value equals to value. As simple as that. Now, okay, because this is a non-blocking and is asynchronous, okay, after some time, okay, we need a report, okay, of what has happened. Remember, these are functions. These are things that happen later, synchronous, okay? It doesn't have to happen immediately, okay? So because of some of the things that are going to happen later, we need what is called a callback function, a function which will be executed when those asynchronous events, okay, which are going to happen at a later point in time, have finally finished executing. Okay, so produce has an argument, okay, called callback. Okay, say callback equals to, we are going to create, I like the suggestion by AI, we're going to create a function called delivery report. Okay, self dot delivery report. Okay, so we shall get a report, okay, of this event, okay, when it has finally, okay, been used at a later point in time. So for it to be used, I can just simply come up here and define it. Say define delivery report. For now, I'll make it empty. Okay, I'll make it empty for now. But actually, this one is for internal use only. Okay, so to specify that something is for internal use, just like we have our attribute up here called instance, which is for internal use only, I will simply come here and put an underscore before the D. Okay, so underscore delivery report. So even here it will be underscore delivery report to signify that it is for only internal use. Okay, make sure you understand that. Okay, only for internal use. So when I go back here, so this now work on it. Okay, so if there's an error, we should handle it. Okay, if there's a message, we should also handle it. For now, I'll keep it basic. I'll say if there's an error. Okay, if there's an error, we can say logger.error. Okay, and I'll accept what AI suggested, saying message delivery failed. Okay, else, okay, else on the next line, okay, we shall say logger.info message delivered to, okay, the message dot topic, okay, and then message, we also can also print the partition. Okay, remember topics can be partitioned. Says at offset message dot offset. Do we need the offset? I don't think we need the offset. Okay, I'll remove that. Okay, you can only tell us the topic, because this message function, okay, this message argument, okay, will have a topic function which will help us to get the topic, and we shall have the partition, okay, function also, or method which will help us get the partition to which it has been delivered. Okay, again, if you don't know what a topic is and you don't know what a partition is, watch day 57, my friends. Okay, and 58, very important. Do not ignore them. Okay, there's a reason why I talk about the theory first before we come into this. Okay, because what matters is the understanding. In fact, if you understand that what the first video where I introduced Kafka, you can even build the producer on your own. Okay, you can build the producer by yourself. We have AI, you can use it to iterate and build things your own way. You can build a consumer your own way. You can build anything your own way. Set up your compose file your own way. Okay, so the first goal is to understand the concepts, always, the fundamentals, always. Okay, then you can go on and do things the way you want. Okay, so do not ignore that video. Now, what else do I want to do? So this is the delivery report, which is passed to this callback. Okay, so we can now go on to the next here. Okay, this is empty. We need to log. Here we can simply log. Okay, log dot error sales failed to send message to topic that. Okay, that's okay. Then also here, after we have called self.produce, okay, there's this line of code that AI is suggesting, which is important. Okay, self.producer.poll. Okay, so what does this work? What does this mean? Poll with a value of 0, okay, serves delivery reports, okay, from previous produce calls. Okay, remember this is what? Asynchronous. Okay, so this is going to help us to serve, okay, okay, reports. What reports? The reports, okay, from previous produce calls. Okay, yeah, if there are any remaining. Okay, yeah, so that's very good to understand. Kind of thinking what we need to do. Okay, I don't know if I explained about encode. Okay, yeah, but yeah, I think I remember I did. Okay, so the result will be bytes. We have to send bytes to Kafka. Okay, and of course these bytes, like I've told you, are simply zeros and ones. Okay, and like I've said, Paul simply says check if there are any previous messages, okay, which have finished sending, and run their callbacks now. Yeah. Now we can now wrap up. Okay, not even wrap up, but yeah, we're close to the end. I just want to move through. Let me see if there's anything I might have left out. New, okay, we have new instance creation and handling to have the singleton design pattern. We have our start method. We have the stop. We have this callback. We have send. Yeah, I think this class is clean. Okay, it's clean. Like I say, in case you have anything you want to add, do not hesitate to always send pull requests. Okay, so now here we can come down and create the singleton. Okay, say, actually I like what AI suggested. Okay, Kafka producer equals to Kafka producer. So we shall always have only and only one Kafka producer. Now let us use it. Okay, to use it, I can go to our routers. Go to routers, users.py. Okay, users.py. And here in registration, okay? Are you seeing this? We were saying background tasks dot add task send welcome email. Okay, but remember this actually works on the same thread of the application. Okay, so, and we know that how email and SMTP can behave. Okay, yeah. So what we want is an event to be fired at this point. Okay, and return immediately to our application. Fire and forget and return. Okay, give us success immediately. So yeah, what I can do now is come at the top here and say from backend .utils. Sometimes I like importing things manually because AI can really mislead many times. Import Kafka producer, but I guess that's correct. Then here, okay. So instead of this, okay, we shall remove that. Okay, shall remove that. Okay, we shall say Kafka. Okay, let me firstly comment it out. Okay, so that you follow along. Okay, so I can now say Kafka producer dot send. Okay, you can send. Okay, what can we send? We need to have now what they call remember what we call, if I open this function, this class, send has the topic and the message. Okay, so we can now say send. Okay, pass the topic. Okay, topic can be called user.event. So this going to be like a user event. Okay. What else do we need to pass? Let AI not mislead us. We need now the message. The message is a dictionary. Okay. So I can open up like that. Okay. This dictionary will have, I can say, the event underscore type. Okay. This type will be user registered. User underscore, on this below case, user registered. Okay, comma. Then next up, we can say email. Can pass the email. Okay, user's email here. Can say user dot email. Okay, in case we need it. Also, we can pass the user ID. User ID, user.id. But because this is a UUID, let me convert it to an str, right? To a string, I mean, like this. Come on, what am I doing? User.id, like that. Come on. Yeah. So this is the event, this is the topic, I mean, and this is the event type. This is the data we are sending, this is the message, the email, and the user. So later on, we shall need to do this. We shall need to call start. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to call start. Also, we are going to need to define a consumer, okay, which will be responsible for sending the actual email. Okay. So we're not going to send the email anymore. Okay. So I'm going to remove this. Okay. Remove this. So we are moving. If I go up, send welcome email, can now remove it. Okay. We don't need it anymore. In fact, even send password reset email, we don't need it also. Okay. Then even now background tasks, I don't think we need it. Okay. So the refactoring is starting to take shape. Yeah. So this is how you can use Kafka. I'm now trying to think about what else to eliminate. Let me see. Where are we doing this? Okay. But so now even with that, we can use AI to refactor everything. Okay. Refactor everything for us. But yeah, here's what you get. But now I want these to not to be magic strings. Okay. I want them to be constants. Okay. But it's something very simple to do. Okay. So can you do that? Okay. And send a pull request. Can you? All right, no problem. I will do that. It is something very simple. So this will be actually magic string. So thank you for, I mean, not magic string, but constants, okay? Maybe not to confuse you. Let us do it now, okay? Let's do it now. I need notification service.py permissions, security validation. I need to create, let me say, maybe constants.py, okay? Then we're going to have topics, okay? There a comment saying Kafka topic names, okay? Then after Kafka topic names, we need the Kafka event types, okay? I'll say comment Kafka event types, like so. Then right here, I can simply have a class, let's say Kafka topics, okay? So here we have user.events, okay? Topics, I'll say user underscore events equals to user.events. Right now we don't have orders, payments. Okay, later on I think we shall have orders. Okay, we shall have payments. Okay, but that is for later. Okay, let me not get ahead of myself. So user.events. Okay, then event type. I'll say Kafka event type. Okay, so we have user registered. Okay, so this can be this. So that now here I can now import that from backend the details, invert Kafka topics and Kafka event types. Then here I'll say Kafka Kafka topics dot user events. Okay, so this is better. Then here will be different. Okay, will be Kafka event types dot user registered. So that if I want to make any edit to the name, okay, I only edit it from one place. Yeah. So I was getting lazy, but I guess it's actually better to do that here. So Kafka topics dot user events, Kafka event types dot user registered. Okay. If think about something, do I need to okay, I can leave them as that. Okay, leave them as that for now. In case of any improvement, it can be done. So in the next stream, let us now work on the consumer. Okay, so now you can apply this, try to apply this on any other function. For example, on where do we call, there's something I'm looking for. Here, okay? Try to apply it. In this case, when we are, where is it? Where's the email? Here. If reset token, background tasks that add tasks, send password reset email. Okay, can you fire an event for that? Publish an event for that. Okay, yeah, but you can see it's very simple. Kafka producer.send, specify the topic, the event type. Okay, so that will be received here. Of course, for now, because there's no producer, it would fail. Okay, it would simply return and would have this our logger warning us, okay, about that. But then we're going to work on making sure that it can be started, okay, so that the send works. So yeah, let's have the consumer build in the next stream. Thank you for learning. I find this very, very exciting and